In Chapter 2, we built the complete motion matching system from scratch, step by step, with clear and detailed explanations. This video gives you an inside look at the MSG course. You can find more information in the video description or at msgcourse.com. Let's jump in. This includes walking, running, jumping, sprinting, crouching, and even directional movements like sidestepping or moving backwards. Almost every essential movement state is covered in this chapter. It starts off as a complex, but absolutely necessary, part of the course. The chapter begins with motion matching, which can feel a bit overwhelming for beginners at first. That's why I'm providing the entire Chapter 2 as downloadable project files. This allows you to skip it and continue directly with Chapter 3 if you prefer. You can always come back later and go through the motion matching setup once you feel more confident. As you can see in the video, jumps are fully animated in all directions, to the left, right, forward, and backward. We've also implemented a first-person perspective to give the game a strong, immersive feeling right from the start. This setup gives you a solid foundation that you can freely adjust and expand to fit the gameplay experience you have in mind. So what exactly do we cover in this chapter? Well, in lectures 3 through 25, the focus lies on building a fully networked, motion-driven character foundation, using both traditional animation systems and the motion matching framework in Unreal Engine 5.5. The series begins by completing the basic animation blueprint setup, defining key states, transitions, and essential variables such as velocity, acceleration, and character movement states. This is followed by the initial integration of the pose search system, which serves as the core of motion matching. Several lectures are dedicated to configuring the motion matching node, generating pose search schemas, and populating them with carefully selected animation assets. This includes the creation of multiple databases to handle walking, running, and idle locomotion, as well as managing mirroring and blending behaviors. In parallel, learners are introduced to the chooser table system, which adds data-driven control over decision logic in animation playback. Chooser tables are used to conditionally select animations based on character state, input, or contextual data, an advanced and flexible approach that extends well beyond motion matching itself. In parallel, learners are introduced to the chooser table system, which adds data-driven control over decision logic in animation playback. Chooser tables are used to conditionally select animations based on character state, input, or contextual data, an advanced and flexible approach that extends well beyond motion matching itself. Following that, the course integrates enhanced input to control walking, sprinting, crouching, and jumping. Key functions like sprint toggling, jump logic, and input-triggered transitions are built using a clean and modular approach. Another essential part of this segment includes the implementation of orientation warping, deceleration handling, and friction tuning. These elements enhance responsiveness and visual fidelity, especially in multiplayer contexts. Finally, the lectures provide a practical introduction to animation modifiers and prepare the foundation for blending procedural and authored animation logic. By the end of Lecture 25, the character system is highly modular, network-compatible, and ready to support further gameplay mechanics such as combat or inventory integration. So it's entirely up to you whether you want to skip Chapter 2 or at least give it a try. As I mentioned earlier, if you're just starting out, it's totally fine to skip this chapter for now and come back to it later once you feel more comfortable. That's actually the recommended approach for beginners. Unless, of course, you're ready to take on the challenge and want to dive in right away. Either way, whichever path you choose, it will move you forward.